Tesla lays off more than 10% of its workforce. Landslides hit Indonesia's Sulawesi island. Simon Harris becomes Ireland's youngest ever leader. Russian city calls for mass evacuation due to rising floodwaters. German commission says legalize abortions in first trimester. ByteDance profit jumps 60%.
Hello, I'm Wade Lee. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is Tuesday, April 16th, and here are your top stories. Tesla will lay off more than 10% of its global electric vehicle workforce. In a memo, first reported by news website Electrek, billionaire-owned Elon Musk told staff there was nothing he hated more, but it must be done. According to its latest annual reports, the world's largest automaker by market value had 140,473 employees globally as of December. Mr. Musk said in the email, "We have done a thorough review of the organization and made the difficult decision to reduce our headcount by more than 10% globally."
There is nothing I hate more, but it must be done. This will enable us to be lean, innovative, and hungry for the next growth phase cycle. The company is set to report its quarterly earnings later this month but has already reported a decline in vehicle deliveries in the first quarter, its first in nearly 4 years, and below market expectations. Some analysts described the results as tumultuous. Last month, Tesla reduced production at the Gigafactory in Shanghai, and last week Tesla told employees who work on the Cybertruck that shifts will be shorter on the production line at the Austin. Tesla has begun to feel the impact of slowing demand for electric vehicles, EVs. Elon Musk has recently denied reports that the company has scrapped plans to produce an inexpensive car, which has been one of his long-standing goals to make affordable EVs for the masses.
Officials said Sunday that torrential rain triggered landslides on Indonesia's Sulawesi island, killing at least 14 people and leaving 3 others missing. The local police chief said mud fell from surrounding hills onto 4 houses just before midnight Saturday in the Tanah Toraja district of South Sulawesi province. He said a family gathering was being held in one of the affected houses. Dozens of soldiers, police, and volunteers joined the search in the village of Makele and South Makele in a remote hilly area. Rescuers early Sunday managed to pull out 2 injured people, including an 8-year-old girl, and rush them to a nearby hospital.
National Disaster Management Agency spokesperson Abdul Muhari said rescuers by Sunday afternoon had recovered at least 11 bodies in Makale village and 3 bodies in South Makale, and were still searching for 3 others, including a 3-year-old girl. Downed communications lines, bad weather, and unstable soil were hampering the rescue efforts. Tanah Toraja has many popular tourist attractions, including a site with traditional houses and wooden statues of bodies buried in the caves, known as Tau Tau. Seasonal downpours cause frequent landslides and floods in Indonesia, a chain of 17,000 islands where millions of people live in mountainous areas or fertile floodplains.
Simon Harris has become the youngest ever Prime Minister of Ireland, officially taking office in Dublin on Tuesday after Leo Varadkar suddenly stepped down last month. Harris, 37, ran a post to replace Varadkar as leader of the ruling Fine Gael party, and the final formality of his rise to power were completed in Dáil, Ireland's parliament. He has held several government positions since being earmarked as a rising political star in his late 20s, most recently serving as the Minister for Higher Education and Science.
But Harris faces a daunting political challenge in the coming months. A general election in Ireland must be held by late March 2025, and Fine Gael is trailing in opinion polls to the Irish Republican group Sinn Féin, which was once the political wing of the Irish Republican Army, IRA. Varadkar led a charge to liberalize some of Ireland's socially conservative laws, most notably easing the country's strict anti-abortion mandates. But his government faced backlash over Ireland's housing crisis and soaring immigration numbers. In his first speech after being elected, Harris condemned Israel for its conduct in Gaza, vowing not to be silent on the war in remarks that immediately made him one of the West's most forceful critics of Israel.
Authorities in the Russian city of Orenburg called on residents to evacuate immediately on Friday due to rapidly rising floodwaters after major river burst their banks due to a deluge of melting snow. Water was also sharply rising in another Russian region, Kurgan, and neighboring Kazakhstan. The authorities said 100,000 people had been evacuated so far, as rapidly warming temperatures melted heavy snow and ice and dislodged trapped waters and mud in places. Regional authorities called for the mass evacuation of part of Orenburg, which is home to 500,000 people.
They said the Ural River had reached 11 meters and 43 centimeters, or just over 37 feet, up from 10.87 meters reported a day earlier, and that the situation was now perilous. Sergei Salman, the city's mayor, said on the Telegram Messenger app, "There's a siren going off in the city. This is not a drill. There's a mass evacuation in progress. The flood situation in Orenburg is extremely dangerous. Over the last 10 hours, the water level in the Ural River has risen by 40 centimeters and now stands at 1,143 centimeters. These levels are dangerous." He called on residents to gather their documents, medicine and essential items and to abandon their homes. Alexei Kudinov, Orenburg's deputy mayor, had said earlier that over 360 houses and nearly 1,000 plots of land had been flooded overnight.
A government-appointed expert commission has called on Germany to legalize the termination of a pregnancy within the first 12 weeks. It might come as a surprise to many, but abortions are, in fact, generally illegal in the Western European nation. However, there are exemptions. For instance, a woman is not punished for choosing to terminate a pregnancy within the first 12 weeks if she has an official medical consultation beforehand. Other exemptions include cases of rape or when the woman's life is in danger. In other words, while abortions are in theory illegal, they are generally not prosecuted.
In some cases, charges are pressed against doctors or clinics, and women are sometimes questioned by police, which can be traumatic. The result of this legal limbo is that some clinics and doctors either don't publicize the service on their websites or refuse to carry out abortions at all out of fear of prosecution. Some women report that provision of terminations can be patchy or hard to find, particularly in rural areas. Liberalization campaigners say all this adds to the stigma surrounding abortions, making an already difficult situation unnecessarily stressful for women. Hurdles, such as finding and organizing a pre-termination consultation, mean that abortions are sometimes carried out later.
ByteDance Ltd's profits surged roughly 60% in 2023, outpacing the growth of online peers Tencent Holdings Ltd and Alibaba Group Holding Ltd, in a sign of the TikTok owner's resilience in the face of an economic downturn. According to people familiar with the matter, who asked not to be named discussing private information, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization jumped to more than $40 billion from about $25 billion in 2022. The people also said that the world's most valuable startup also grew sales nearly $120 billion from $80 billion.
The results mark the first time that ByteDance has overtaken arch-rival Tencent both in revenue and profit, as it leveraged its popular short video platforms to expand into international e-commerce and sustain its global popularity. While ByteDance's internal figures haven't been independently audited, they suggest the ad-churning social media juggernaut became one of the world's fastest-growing tech giants in 2023. The owner of TikTok and Chinese twin Douyin last year cemented its position as one of China's internet leaders, alongside Tencent and Alibaba, which have both struggled to rekindle growth at a time of economic uncertainty and consumer wariness in the country.
The answer for yesterday is C, critical. One of the victims of the fire remains in a critical condition. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of Tesla lays off more than 10% of its workforce. Number 1, thorough. 彻底的，仔细周到. The police carried out a thorough investigation. Number 2, headcount, 人数统计，统计出的人数. Group headcount fell by around 400 between the first and second quarter. Number 3, tumultuous, 动荡的，动乱的，狂暴的. It comes on the heels of a tumultuous 50 years that included 2 world wars and an economic depression. Next, we have a multiple-choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comments section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's it for today's Funday news. Be sure to tune into Funday news from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Wei Li, your host. I'll see you next time.